I never believed a single Friday night could unspool 27 years of marriage. Yet here I am, speaking to you like a late-night confession, heart thudding, breath thin. My name is Elena, I am 53, and Daniel, my steady, broad-shouldered Daniel at 57, thinks I just needed air. Maybe I did. Maybe I needed to step outside our life before it swallowed me whole. We live in a quiet suburb outside Denver, where the houses repeat like a lullaby and the days tick by with gentle predictability. Daniel works the shipping depot shift and comes home with tired hands and a smile he saves for me. On Fridays, he meets his lifelong buddies, Rick and Liam, and sometimes I tag along for noise and neon. Tonight, it is the blue pin lanes. Buzzing lights, fryer grease, polished wood, balls thundering, laughter rising like steam. I tell myself I am there for company, for the small glory of belonging. But when Rick tosses me that teasing grin and Liam's calm eyes catch mine like a hook, something stirs. Dangerous, inconvenient, uninvited. It is not lust. It is the ache of being noticed after years of being safe. I am not proud of that. I am only being honest with you, because if I cannot be honest in the dark, when can I? Daniel bowls first and lights up the frame, then turns with that goofy victory smile that still melts me. "You got this, Len," he says, patting my shoulder. I roll 2 gutters and laugh it off, but my chest zings with embarrassment. Rick razzes me. Liam does not. He only watches, eyes sharp, unreadable, like he is listening to a song I cannot hear. The night slides forward, slick as the oiled lane, and the jukebox croons an old love ballad that makes everything feel too close. In the hallway by the restrooms, the light flickers like a heartbeat losing rhythm. I go there to breathe. The air tastes of disinfectant and old secrets. Footsteps. Rick's voice softens, too soft for the clown he is at the lane. Liam leans against the wall, arms folded, the quiet gravity of him pulling at me. There is a half smile, a careful whisper, and an offer that lands like a stone in a still pond. I wish I could tell you I left. I wish I did not listen. Guilt is a fast learner. It knows your name by the second mistake. When I return, it is gnawing, hot, relentless, unkind. Daniel stands by the billiards table, cue chalk blue on his fingers. "You okay?" he asks, warm as a porch light. "Just needed air," I answer, and even my lie sounds tired. Rick laughs too loudly at nothing. Liam sips his beer like penance. The ordinary roar becomes punishment. Clatter, cheer, the rubbery smack of rented shoes, every sound an accusation. Outside, the Denver night is cold enough to make the neon shiver. I pace the edge of the lot, gravel cracking under my boots, trying to arrange my breath into something that will not betray me. Daniel comes out, silhouette bright with concern. "Elena," he says, just my name, and somehow it asks everything. I fold into excuses, headache, heat. I am fine, really, but 27 years taught him my tells. His brow tightens. What happened? Hangs between us like glass. We drive home inside a silence that feels crowded. The garage door groans open like a judge clearing a throat. I go straight to the bedroom, fingers shaking as I slide a shoebox from under the bed. Old photos, ticket stubs, a pressed lilac from a summer we still recall. I add tonight's secret to the archive no one should ever see, and it hums there like a live wire. Beyond the wall, the television murmurs while Daniel does not watch. Shame burns. Loneliness sits beside me. If you are still with me, hear this. I love my husband. That is the cruelest blade. I love him, and still I stepped into a shadow that was not mine. Maybe it was the music, or the soft net of attention, or the terror of time closing in. Now 3 questions pace as wolves. What did Rick and Liam want beyond that moment? What has Daniel guessed and not said? And how long before the thing I hid begins speaking? I promised honesty in the dark. So here it is. I can still feel the ghost of a touch that should not have happened, and I hate that part of me does not want to forget. That is the hook in the heart, the one that keeps bleeding after the song is over. The blue pin lanes will open tomorrow like nothing happened. The cul-de-sac sprinklers will glitter. The depot will swallow Daniel's hours and hand him back to me, tired and kind. And I hear his soft footsteps outside our door. "Elena?" I hear Daniel's voice through the door, low and careful, the way he speaks when he's trying not to startle me. "Elena, you still awake?" I answer too quickly, too softly. Yeah, just thinking. The pause that follows is heavy. He doesn't push, just says, "All right, don't stay up too late," before his footsteps fade down the hall. I exhale only when the house settles into quiet, the kind of silence that hums against the bones. I lie back, staring at the ceiling, tracing cracks I've seen 100 times. But tonight they look like fault lines, tiny fractures that could split open and swallow everything. I reach for the nightstand, for my glass of water, but my hand trembles, knocking it over. Water spills, seeping across the table like a slow confession. I whisper, "Get it together," and grab a towel, pressing it down until the fabric soaks heavy in my hand. My reflection in the mirror catches me off guard. Eyes swollen, face pale, someone older than I remember being. Sleep doesn't come. Instead, memories replay like a looped film reel. Rick's hesitant grin, Liam's quiet stare, the weight of folded bills slipping into my purse. Each one a frame etched with guilt. I get up, pad to the window, and pull back the curtain. Outside, the street lamps throw silver pools over empty pavement. Across the road, the neighbor's dog barks once, then stops, as if even it senses the shame dripping through these walls. The next morning, Daniel's already in the kitchen when I walk in, still in his work jacket. The smell of coffee lingers thick in the air. He's reading the paper but not really seeing it. "You didn't sleep," he says, not asking, just stating a truth he knows too well. I force a half smile. "Neither did you." He glances up, eyes tired but soft. "You want to talk about it?" I shake my head. There's nothing to talk about. The lie slides out smoother this time, and that scares me more than anything. He nods slowly, as if he's choosing not to believe me for my own sake. "Okay," he says, "just don't shut me out, all right?" My throat tightens. "I won't," I whisper, though we both know I already have. The day drags. I try to busy myself. Laundry, bills, the humdrum rhythm of survival. But every sound feels magnified. The dryer's buzz startles me. The ticking clock feels accusatory. I keep replaying that moment in the hallway, searching for a way to undo it, to step backward into a version of myself that said no. But the mind doesn't grant rewinds, only replays. By afternoon, the phone rings. The sound slices the silence clean in half. My heart leaps, part fear, part expectation. When I check the screen, it's Rick. My hands turn cold. For a moment, I consider letting it ring out. But curiosity is a cruel tether. I answer. "Elena," he says, his voice a mixture of cheer and something unsaid. "You okay? You seemed off last night." "Just tired," I manage, my tone brittle. A pause. "You're not going to tell Daniel, are you?" My stomach drops. "What?" He chuckles nervously. "I mean, about the cash. We don't want things getting weird." I bite down on my lip, forcing calm. "No, Rick, I'm not saying anything." He exhales like a man spared. "Good, you're a good woman, Elena." The words should comfort, but they curdle in my chest. I hang up before he can say more, my hands shaking so hard I nearly drop the phone. The next few days pass in fragments. Daniel's laughter when he watches his old shows, the clatter of dishes in the sink, the faint buzz of a text notification I don't dare open. I avoid mirrors, avoid silence, avoid myself. But Liam, quiet, deliberate Liam, keeps appearing in my mind like a whisper I can't ignore. His eyes that night weren't cruel. They were searching, almost regretful. And that thought unsettles me more than his proposal ever did. On Thursday, I run into him at the local grocery store. It's almost cinematic, too coincidental to be chance. He's in the produce aisle, holding an apple, turning it over like it's a thought he hasn't finished. When he sees me, his mouth opens slightly, but no words come. "Liam," I breathe, barely audible. "Elena," he says, and my name sounds heavier from his mouth. Like an apology, we stand there awkward, surrounded by the sterile hum of refrigeration. Finally, he says, "You don't have to worry." "What happened?" "It won't go further." I nod, relief and confusion colliding. "Why tell me now?" He shrugs, eyes soft. "Because I can't stop thinking about how it made you look at me, like I was something I don't want to be." Something trembles in the space between us. Fragile. Human. For a second, I believe him. For a second, I almost smile. But then, Over his shoulder, I catch sight of Daniel walking into the store. Broad frame, familiar gait, and the world collapses into static. My pulse kicks up, sharp and ragged. Liam follows my gaze, steps back instinctively. "Elena," he starts, but I'm already turning, already walking toward the next aisle, pretending to examine cereal boxes like I haven't just been caught standing in the ghost of my own sin. Daniel spots me, smiles easily, oblivious. "Hey, thought I'd surprise you," he says, placing a hand on my shoulder. His touch is warm, real, undeserved. "Need help with anything?" I shake my head quickly. "No, I've got it." My voice trembles on the edge of composure. Liam's already gone. The apple he held sits abandoned on the counter, bruised where his thumb pressed too long. The drive home is quiet again. The radio hums softly, a love song from years ago that once meant everything. Daniel hums along, off-key, unaware that every lyric feels like a verdict. I stare out the window, watching the sky dim into the color of regret. Inside me, something whispers, "This isn't over." The past never stays buried. It waits for silence, then knocks. Morning sunlight leaks through the blinds, slicing thin lines across the kitchen table. Daniel hums softly as he flips through mail, while I stand at the sink pretending to wash dishes that are already clean. The sound of running water masks my uneven breathing. "You've been quiet lately," he says, not looking up. I reply, "Just tired, though the lie tastes bitter." He nods, like he's decided to let it slide again. Maybe he's hoping silence can fix what words can't. The next few days move like slow motion. I go to work, come home, cook dinner, laugh at Daniel's old jokes. Everything looks normal from the outside, but inside my thoughts spin like loose change in a dryer. I can't stop replaying the grocery store moment. Liam's eyes, Daniel's sudden smile, that split second of fear. I tell myself it's over, that whatever happened in that hallway will fade like a bad dream, but guilt has its own calendar. It doesn't move on schedule. One night as I'm folding laundry, my phone buzzes. No name, just a number I don't recognize. The message reads, "We need to talk." It's about Rick. My chest tightens. For a long moment, I just stare at the screen, then delete the text like erasing words could erase what they mean. Daniel walks in holding a glass of water, kisses my temple. "You okay, Lynn?" he asks softly. I force a smile. "Yeah, I'm fine." I'm not fine. Later, when Daniel's asleep, I sneak into the living room, the phone lighting my face in the dark. Another message flashes. Same number. He's been running his mouth. "Be careful." My pulse quickens. Could Rick really be talking? My mind jumps to the money tucked away under the bed, that shoebox full of shame. I feel the air leaving my lungs. The next morning, I drive to the Blue Pin Lanes, parking far enough from the entrance that no one will notice my car. The place is empty in daylight, stripped of its noise and neon. The smell of beer and smoke lingers like ghosts. I walk inside, half hoping to find answers, half hoping no one's there. But in the corner, leaning on the counter, is Liam. He looks up, startled, then wary. "Elena," he says, voice barely above a whisper. "Who sent the texts?" I demand. He glances around, lowering his tone. "Rick's been drinking too much. Talking too loud about that night." My stomach drops. He promised. "I know," Liam says. "That's why I warned you." The honesty in his voice cracks something inside me. He's not threatening, he's scared. For both of us. There's a silence that hums between us, heavy with everything we can't say. His eyes meet mine, and for a moment, all the noise in my head fades. The air between us is thick, magnetic, wrong and right all at once. He steps closer, close enough that I can smell soap and sawdust on his jacket. "I didn't mean for it to happen," he murmurs. "Any of it." I swallow hard. Neither did I. For a heartbeat, we stand there, suspended in something that feels dangerously like understanding. Then a sound breaks it, a door creaking open. I turn sharply, heart leaping. It's just the wind, but the spell's broken. I grab my purse, backing away. "We can't talk again," I say. "Ever." He nods slowly, regret flickering across his face. "Take care of yourself, Elena." When I step outside, the sunlight feels too bright. My phone buzzes again. You shouldn't have come here. The message sends a chill through me. I glance back toward the building, but Liam's nowhere in sight. That night, Daniel notices the distance again. You've been miles away lately, he says quietly over dinner. Did I do something? The question hits like a blade. No, Daniel. You didn't. He reaches across the table, hand brushing mine. Then talk to me. I want to. God, I want to spill everything. To tell him about the money, the hallway, the fear, but I can't. The words die before they reach my lips. I'm just tired, I whisper again. The same lie I've been feeding him for days. He studies me for a moment, then says, You know I love you, right? My chest aches. I know, I whisper. I love you too. The words feel like both truth and punishment. That night I dream of water, cold, deep, endless. I'm sinking, reaching for a hand I can't quite grasp. When I wake, my pillow's damp with tears. The room is quiet except for Daniel's soft breathing beside me. I press a trembling hand against my chest, as if I can hold my heart still long enough to survive morning. Somewhere in the dark, my phone lights up again. Another message. This isn't going away. The past has a cruel way of knocking just when you think you've buried it, and I can feel the knock getting louder. Morning brings no peace, only the uneasy quiet before a storm. Daniel leaves early for work, the sound of the garage door fading into the kind of silence that feels alive. I sit at the kitchen table, staring at my phone like it's a ticking bomb. No new messages, but that doesn't calm me. Whoever sent those texts knows enough to rattle me. And if Rick's been talking, how long before Daniel hears something? I make coffee I don't drink, pace the living room, open the blinds, close them again. Every little sound feels suspicious. When a car door slams outside, I flinch. My pulse won't slow down. Finally, I grab my keys and drive. No plan, just movement. The city blurs by in flashes of gray and sunlight until I find myself parked outside a small diner off Colfax Avenue. It's nearly empty, a place that smells of old sugar and burnt coffee. I sit in a corner booth, trying to breathe. Halfway through my untouched cup, the door chimes. Rick walks in. My stomach drops. He hasn't seen me yet. His beard's unkempt, eyes glassy, shirt wrinkled. He looks like a man fraying at the edges. I watch as he orders something to go, then leans against the counter, pulling out his phone. My phone buzzes on cue. We need to talk. Now. He doesn't know I'm here. My breath catches. I slide lower in the booth, heart pounding against my ribs. When he finally leaves, I count to 20 before following him outside. He heads down the alley behind the diner, fumbling with his keys. Rick! I call. He turns startled. For a second, guilt flashes across his face, then irritation. Jesus, Elena, what are you doing here? You've been texting me? What? No, he says too fast. Why would I? Because someone knows, I hiss. Someone who keeps warning me about you. He blinks, confusion flickering into fear. Liam, he mutters finally, rubbing his face. It's gotta be him. He's always acting like he's the clean one, the decent one. I shake my head. He warned me about you. Said you were drinking, talking. Rick laughs. A short, bitter sound. Talking? Sure, maybe I said something. You think I can sleep after that night? You think I don't see it every time I close my eyes? Then stop, I plead. Please, Rick, just stop before Daniel, he cuts me off. Before Daniel what? Finds out you're not the perfect wife? The words hit like a slap. My throat tightens. I made a mistake. That's all, yeah? He says, stepping closer. Mistakes don't come with price tags, sweetheart. I flinch back, disgusted. You don't get to talk to me like that, he scoffs. We're all in this mess together, Elena. You think Liam's your guardian angel? He's just better at pretending. He starts walking away, tossing his half-smoked cigarette into the street. You should be careful who you trust, he calls over his shoulder. That's all I'll say. I stand frozen, watching him disappear around the corner. The sound of traffic roars faintly in my ears, but it's my heartbeat I hear loudest. When I finally get back into my car, I notice something tucked under my windshield wiper, a folded piece of paper. My name written in block letters. I open it with shaking hands. One sentence, he deserves to know. No signature. That night, Daniel senses the distance again. We sit in the living room, the TV on but ignored. He glances at me, his jaw tightening like he's made a decision. Elena, he says quietly, What's really going on? I freeze. What do you mean? I mean, he continues, voice steady but pained. You're somewhere else lately. You jump when your phone buzzes. You barely look me in the eye. I open my mouth but no words come. He leans forward, eyes searching. Did someone hurt you? The question breaks me. Tears sting my eyes. No, Daniel. No one hurt me. Then what is it? He presses, softer now. You can tell me. I shake my head. You wouldn't understand. He sighs, running a hand through his hair. Try me. But I can't. If I tell him, I lose him. If I don't, I'll drown in my own guilt. I choose silence. Later, in bed, I pretend to sleep while he lies awake beside me. I feel the bed shift when he turns, restless. Maybe he knows. Maybe he's already guessed more than I've admitted. The space between us feels like miles. At 2 a.m., I slip out of bed, careful not to wake him. I pull the shoebox from under the bed, open it one last time. The money's still there, untouched, poisoned. I grab it, shove it into a paper bag, and walk out into the night barefoot, not even grabbing a coat. The air is sharp, biting. I drive until I reach a bridge over the river, park, and step out. The water below moves dark and cold. I take one breath, then another, then hurl the bag as far as I can. It lands with a splash, gone instantly. But the relief I expect never comes, only emptiness. When I return home, Daniel's sitting at the kitchen table, eyes red, coffee untouched. He looks up as I walk in. Where were you? He asks quietly. My voice trembles. I needed to get rid of something. His gaze narrows. What kind of something? I swallow hard. Something that was hurting us. He studies me for a long, silent moment, then nods slowly. Then I hope it's gone for good. I nod too, though deep down, I know the river only took the money. The guilt stayed behind. The days that follow blur together, a quiet fog that smells of coffee, rain, and everything unsaid. Daniel doesn't ask again about that night, but his silence carries its own weight. It's a silence that watches, listens, waits. Sometimes I catch him looking at me when he thinks I'm not paying attention. His eyes aren't angry, not yet, but they're searching, tracing the distance that's grown between us. The money is gone, but the memory hasn't left. Every time I pass the river, I feel it pulling at me, whispering from the dark water, reminding me what I threw away wasn't paper. It was my peace. I start walking there in the evenings, telling Daniel I need air. He nods, kisses my forehead, and lets me go. The man who once never questioned me now doesn't stop me at all. That hurts more than suspicion ever could. One evening, the sky turns the color of old bruises, heavy with storm. I walk faster, clutching my coat. The river is loud tonight, swollen with rain, thrashing like it knows my name. I stop at the same spot where I tossed the bag, gripping the railing until my knuckles whiten. You're still here, I whisper to the water, aren't you? Guilt doesn't drown. It just learns how to float. My phone buzzes. The number again. You can't wash away what's done. My breath catches. I look around. The path is empty, trees swaying, streetlight flickering. A chill climbs my spine. Then another message. He deserves the truth. My hands shake as thunder rolls in the distance. This isn't over. Someone knows. Someone wants to break me. I hurry home, heart slamming against my ribs. When I step inside, Daniel's standing by the window, rainlight spilling across his face. He doesn't turn when I call his name. Elena, he says softly, I saw you. My stomach drops. What? At the river, 2 nights ago. He turns now, eyes steady, unreadable. You threw something into the water. What was it? Every muscle in my body locks. I could lie again. Say it was trash, old papers, anything. But I'm so tired of lying. My voice cracks. It was money. $500. He frowns. Money? From who? I open my mouth, no sound comes. My throat burns. From someone who made me a mistake. Silence. The kind that swallows oxygen. Then Daniel exhales, long and heavy. Rick. He says it like a verdict. My eyes widen. How? I called him, Daniel says simply. He sounded nervous. Said too much without saying anything at all. I feel my knees weaken. Daniel, please. He raises a hand, not in anger, but in exhaustion. I don't need the details. I just need to understand why. There it is. The question I've dreaded most. Why? Why did I let guilt choose for me? Why did I reach for a lifeline made of poison? Tears blur my vision. We were drowning, I whisper. The bills, the stress. I just wanted to help. I didn't think. No, he interrupts quietly. You didn't. I expect shouting, accusation, but he just sits down, staring at the floor. The rain drums on the roof like a heartbeat. We've both forgotten how to hear. You could have told me, he says finally. You always could have told me. My voice breaks. Would you have forgiven me? He looks up, eyes glassy. I don't know. That's the cruelest truth. Not anger, not hate, just uncertainty. The storm outside rages, thunder cracking, lights flickering. I sit across from him, two ghosts sharing the same room. I'm sorry, I whisper. I know, he says. But sorry doesn't fix what's broken, Elena. We sit in silence as the storm passes, the house holding its breath. When it's finally quiet, Daniel stands. I need some time, he says, reaching for his jacket. I'll stay with my brother for a while. I stand too fast, panic clawing at me. Daniel, please, don't leave. He hesitates at the door, his back to me. You didn't leave me much choice. Then softer. Take care of yourself. The door closes, and the sound is final. Not loud, just heavy. I stand there until the silence becomes unbearable. The clock ticks. The rain slows, and for the first time in years, the house feels enormous. Days turn into a blur of half-slept nights and unanswered calls. I walk to the river often, not to look for forgiveness, but to remember the woman I was before that night. Sometimes I think I see Daniel's truck parked near the bridge, but it's always gone before I can be sure. One evening, I find an envelope taped to the front door. My name written in Daniel's careful handwriting. Inside, a note and the same shoebox I'd once hidden the money in. I found this under the bed, the note says. Maybe it's time to fill it with something better. I sit on the porch, reading it over and over until tears blur the ink. I take the box inside, place it on the table, and breathe. It's empty now, just wood and air, but it feels lighter than it ever did before. Maybe that's what healing starts like, a hollow space waiting to be filled with something new. I whisper into the quiet. I'll wait, Daniel. However long it takes. Outside, the river moves steadily under the fading sky. Guilt, love, forgiveness. They all run the same direction if you let them. If this story touched you, remember, silence never heals what the heart hides. Share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stories that linger long after the last word.